Our body and the nutrients that fortify it are made of all kinds of elements and chemicals. One you might have heard of is nitric oxide. And while it sounds like the compound behind laughing gas, it's no laughing matter. Our next guest is here to explain why you may want to include nitric oxide in your health regimen. He's the author of The Secret of Nitric Oxide, Bringing Nitric Oxide to Life. Let's welcome Nathan Bryan. Hello, Nathan. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Desiree, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you.
Yes, happy to have you on. So Nathan, let's start with the question, what is nitric oxide and how is it different from other chemicals we may have heard of?
Yeah, nitric oxide is one of the most important molecules produced in the human body. It controls and regulates many important biological functions associated with health, longevity, and really prevention of chronic disease. So it's what we call a signaling molecule. Once it's produced, it's a gas, actually. It makes it an interesting signaling molecule. But it dilates blood vessels. It improves tissue oxygenation. It prevents plaque from building up inside of the lining of the blood vessels. It prevents the inflammation that we see that's the silent driver of chronic disease. And it controls many things that we know about health and longevity. Mobilizes stem cells, prevents our telomeres from getting shorter, and activates our mitochondria to produce more energy more efficiently.
Nathan, why would you say it's important that we maintain healthy levels in our bodies?
Well, I referred to the science. The science tells us that when you lose the ability to produce nitric oxide in the lining of the blood vessels, that's the earliest event in the onset and progression of chronic disease. Things like cardiovascular disease, which is still the #1 killer of men and women worldwide. When we lose the ability to produce nitric oxide, we can't dilate blood vessels. So we develop sexual dysfunction. We develop mild cognitive impairment. Nitric oxide is important for insulin signaling and glucose uptake. So, it causes insulin resistance, diabetes. Even Alzheimer's now recognized as a metabolic disease that's caused by a lack of nitric oxide production. So we must maintain adequate nitric oxide production if we don't want to get these chronic diseases that are plaguing the world today.
And you wrote a book on nitric oxide, which is being released today. So tell us about the book and why you wrote it.
Well, I'm extremely honored and proud to be represented by Alan Morrell, my agent and good friend and creative management partners, and, my publisher, Brick Tower Press. They heard our story. I spent 25 years in academic medicine and doing basic science research and published over 100 peer-reviewed papers. But what I quickly realized, the consumers, the lay public, isn't reading the scientific literature. In fact, most physicians don't read the literature. So there's lack of awareness, global awareness around nitric oxide. So my motivation was to take this 40 years of rich science, the discoveries that led to a Nobel Prize in 1998, and distill that into an easily readable, digestible book called The Secret of Nitric Oxide. So, number one, to bring awareness of what nitric oxide is, what it does, and why everyone who reads the book should be concerned about this molecule.
And as you're bringing awareness, how can we maintain healthy levels of nitric oxide in our body?
Well, that's part of the secrets that are revealed in the book. But, simply we can, things like mouthwash use that's destroying the oral microbiome, completely shut down nitric oxide production. Fluoride, which is used in toothpaste as an antiseptic, again, disrupting the microbiome. Again, things like antacids, the proton pump inhibitors, completely shut down the body's ability to produce nitric oxide. So if we can eliminate the things that are inhibiting nitric oxide production and then start doing the things that are clinically proven to promote it, stimulate it, and activate it, like moderate physical exercise, throw in some more green leafy vegetables, 20-30 minutes of sunlight a day, but really the elimination of sugar and simple carbohydrates from our diet, balanced diet in moderation, we have to move, and typically that may be enough. But the 25 years I spent in academia, we discovered a lot of science and technology where we have products now that are on the market that if your body can't make nitric oxide, if you've lost the ability to naturally produce it, then these products will do it for you.
Nathan, thanks for giving us more insight into nitric oxide. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can get your book, and for more information, you can learn more by going to nathansbook.com.